Ever feel like taking a peek behind the curtain at City Hall?
I know I do.
Well, that's exactly what we're doing today.
Oh, tell me more.
We've got the Seattle City Council meeting minutes
Hey,
from February 13th, 20th, and 27th, 2024.
really interesting.
Yeah, so it's like this little time capsule
Yeah.
ready to transport us back to like the heart of local government.
These minutes might seem, I don't know, kind of ordinary at first glance.
Right.
But trust me, there's a captivating story hidden within these pages. It offers a glimpse into the issues that mattered most to Seattleites back then.
And I have a feeling we might unearth some surprises along the way.
Absolutely. For example, did you notice the Day of Remembrance proclamations?
Right. Yeah, those stood out to me. Those weren't just like routine formalities.
Not at all.
Oh.
No, these proclamations are deeply symbolic.
Okay.
Like the first one, for instance, commemorates the expulsion of Chinese residents from Seattle
Oh, wow.
back on February 7th.
Wow.
It's a stark reminder
Yeah.
of past injustices.
Yeah.
And you can see council members Wu and Morales presented it.
Right.
And there's even testimony from Winston Lee of United Hubbo,
Huh?
really emphasizing the lasting impact of this event.
It's powerful to see the council acknowledging those parts of Seattle's past, especially with community members there to share their perspective.
Exactly. And that theme continues with the February 19th meeting, which was dedicated to the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II.
Right, right.
Council members Saka, Wu, and Strauss led this one. And they had Dr. Kyle Kinoshita, who's from the Seattle JACL, and we also have Dale Kaku, a Nisei veteran,
Wow.
providing really powerful words.
Just even hearing those names, those stories, it just adds a whole other dimension to what, like you said, could have just been lines on a page. Do you think these proclamations were connected to any like bigger conversations that were happening in Seattle at the time?
It's tough to say for sure without more context, to be honest.
Right.
But they definitely raise some important questions about historical memory and social justice.
Yeah.
For example, where there may be ongoing debates about monuments or reparations or even present-day discrimination against these communities.
Those are excellent questions.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling we might find some answers as we kind of keep going, because it is a poignant reminder that the past is never truly the past.
Absolutely. The past continues to echo into the present, shaping the issues we face today and the decisions that our leaders make. It's an important lens through which to view the rest of these meetings, for sure.
So we were talking about those Day of Remembrance proclamations,
Right.
but those weren't the only voices that we're hearing in these council chambers.
Definitely not. The minutes are filled with voices of Seattle residents, all wanting to speak their minds during open comment.
And there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
We see names like
Yeah.
Debbie Wilson, Ladies Perez, David Haynes.
Right.
There's even someone named Gary who I swear changed their last name between meetings.
Well, that happens. But really, each of those names is a person.
Right.
A person who cares enough to show up and speak.
Yes, absolutely. And while we can't, go through every single comment.
I did notice some themes, especially around, environmental regulations.
Yeah, definitely a big one in these meetings. Reflects a broader concern in Seattle, I'd say.
Okay.
For example, David Haynes shows up again,
Right.
advocating for stricter environmental regs, especially for those development projects near the floodplains.
He was very persistent.
And speaking of showing up more than once, we've got Alex Simerman.
Right.
Remember him? His story takes kind of an interesting turn later on.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely be getting back to Mr. Simerman. His experience, I think, kind of exposes this fascinating, but also kind of unsettling aspect of the council's power.
Okay, we'll save that for later.
Yeah.
But speaking of, the power dynamics at play, how seriously does the council actually take these public comments? I mean, it's one thing to let people speak, but it's another to, actually listen to them.
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
In a perfect world, public comment is a great tool for democratic engagement.
Right.
Allows people to directly impact their local government.
Yep.
But as we've been talking about, not every voice is equal.
Right. Right. So someone like David Haynes, who we see showing up meeting after meeting,
Right.
building those relationships probably has a better chance of being heard than somebody who only speaks up once.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
And we're not even considering, public speaking skills,
Oh, right.
or even just how much their views line up with the council members.
It makes you wonder about those who don't have the time. Or maybe even the confidence to, like, navigate those unspoken rules.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to look closely at these places where power and public participation kind of come together.
Yeah.
Whose voices are heard,
Right.
whose voices are maybe ignored.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. So we've spent all this time on public comment,
Right.
with every voice adding to the story of Seattle, February 2024.
Yeah.
But these minutes, they're not just about public comment. They also kind of show us how the council itself operates.
Yeah.
From routine votes to, well, moments of unexpected drama.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the big picture stuff.
Right.
But these smaller details,
Yeah.
they're important pieces of the puzzle.
Totally. Like floodplain regulations.
Right.
I got to be honest, I kind of skimmed those parts. Not going to lie.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
But even those, like as dry as they seem,
Right.
they reflect priorities.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, they show potential conflicts.
Yeah.
And we see the actual impacts of the council's decisions.
Okay.
Remember David Haynes?
Yes, our guy.
Big advocate for those stricter environmental regulations.
Right.
That's where these discussions are happening.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, good point. Okay. And then there's that whole honorary street naming for Senator George Fleming.
Oh, yeah.
That was really touching.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
It reminds us that these meetings aren't just about policies and regulations, but also about people.
Yes, exactly.
Hearing from, Tina, Sanja, Yemi Fleming,
Right.
sharing memories
Yeah.
about their father,
Mm-hmm.
honoring his legacy.
Yeah.
It adds this personal touch
Yeah.
to these otherwise very formal events.
Right. It really did. But on a slightly more, I don't know, maybe intense note, there's that executive session on February 20th.
Mm-hmm.
Those always make me a little suspicious. Like, what are they talking about?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point of an executive session, right?
Yeah.
There's supposed to be these
I'm-
confidential discussions
Right.
on things that are very sensitive,
Yeah, okay.
like legal strategies, real estate, personnel issues.
Right.
And that lack of transparency can be frustrating, for sure.
Right.
But sometimes it really is necessary
True.
to protect information.
Okay. But speaking of frustrating lack of transparency,
Yes.
Alex Summerman.
Yes.
Here's where things get interesting.
Mr. Summerman. This is where we see maybe not so glamorous aside to this whole civic engagement thing.
Right.
So just to recap, he was listed as a public commenter on February 13th,
Right.
but then on the 20th, we see that he's filed this appeal to a city council exclusion.
So, meaning he was, barred from speaking?
Yeah, he was blocked from participating on the 13th.
Wow.
And this is his way of appealing that decision.
Okay, so he's fighting back a little bit.
Exactly. And on the 27th, we see that the appeal was denied.
Oh.
But the minutes,
Yeah.
they don't give a reason.
No explanation.
Nothing about why he was excluded in the first place or why it was denied.
See, that's a little unsettling. Makes
Yeah.
you wonder, who gets to decide who can speak up and who can't at these meetings, and for what reason?
Exactly the questions we should be asking.
Yeah.
The council definitely has the right to manage their meetings,
Sure.
to make sure things are safe and productive.
Right.
But what happened with Mr. Zimmerman, it just highlights how that power could be misused.
Yeah. Definitely casts a bit of a shadow over everything.
Yeah,
Right.
without a doubt. Reminds us that power dynamics are always there,
Yeah.
even in systems that seem transparent, like local government.
Right. Makes you wonder what stories aren't being told,
Yeah.
what voices are being silenced. So after spending all this time going through these minutes, finding these moments of reflection, the human connection, even some, ambiguity and a little bit of drama, what do you think the takeaway is here for the listener?
I'd say it's a reminder that local government is complicated.
Yeah.
It's messy, it's not perfect,
Right.
but it's also where so many important decisions are made.
Absolutely.
And these minutes, with all the details and the stories they tell,
Yeah.
they prove that.
And to your point earlier, it really does make you wonder what else is out there,
Yeah,
hidden in all these documents.
absolutely.
What other stories are waiting to be uncovered?
That's what I love about doing these deep dives. It's not always about finding all the answers.
Right.
It's about sparking that curiosity.
Right.
Hopefully, our listener feels inspired to do a little digging themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe uncover what really happened with Alex Zimmerman.
Yes.
Or find a whole other mystery hidden within these pages.
That's the fun part.
Exactly.
One thing's for sure, Seattle's story, like any city, it's full of surprises. And it's up to us to, pay attention. Ask questions. Put the pieces together, one detail at a time.